Alright guys, so this is the Destiny 2 beta on PC. Now, surprisingly enough, this is actually a controller that I'm using on PC, which is normally a hell no for most games. For some reason, it's working with Destiny pretty good. I can tell you, I have played a couple PC games and I've tried mouse and keyboard, guys, and I've got so much respect for people that can use mouse and keyboard. I cannot. I am terrible at mouse and keyboard. I've used a controller my entire life, and so even in first-person shooters, I just plug my controller into my PC like some sort of barbarian, man. But that's what we do. That's how I make it happen. Somehow today it was working. Now let me go ahead and say this right off the bat. I am really liking what I'm seeing on the PC side of things. The issue that we had in Destiny 2's console beta was, number one, I felt like the games you didn't really get your supers fast enough, nor did you get you never hardly ever got 2 supers in the game. I can tell you that seems to have been dealt with. It's not too fast, as in it's not like Destiny 1, and let's be real, Destiny 1 damn near got into an ability simulator, but it's still fast enough to enjoy a couple of supers. You know, you mess up with that super, it's okay. You can bounce right back, get another super before the game ends, and hopefully get some kills with that. As far as time to kill and stuff like that, I would really have to dive into how the weapons themselves perform. I could tell you right off the bat, just from a general comparison, before skill-based matchmaking really started to kick in, but that was something that was really amped up, I believe, in Destiny 2's console beta. I felt like Bungie probably knew a lot of us that were veteran players coming into Destiny 2's beta. They didn't want us getting into the same lobbies as some of these new guys, and rightfully so. As long as that's not the case whenever the game launches itself, that's all right with me. Now, as far as the player base here on PC, I will say that they are going to be phenomenal players, especially a lot of the guys I was going against. They're going to be phenomenal players when they get the right idea of where to go. A lot of them were using things like hand cannons at like an immense range, and yet they were still somehow staying competitive because of how well they can, their gun skill is, how well they can aim. I think the only reason why I was beating out people today was because, number one, I had knowledge of the weapons, so I automatically knew which weapons were good, which ones were bad. You know, I'm using Phosphorus with Phase Mag. I'm using Nightshade, which is a very good pulse rifle, and on top of that, I knew mobility really well on this game as well as on Destiny 1. It just, the transition was really easy, and plus, guys, I put in so many hours in the Destiny 2 beta. So coming from that, having all the hours that I spent on that, and still going against brand new Destiny players today on PC, I can tell you right now, they are going to be nasty, man. I can only imagine what this Crucible game or outlook would look like 4 or 5 months from now after PC launches, because these guys are going to be disgusting, and I'm excited to see the gameplay that they're going to propose, because, hey, at the end of the day, we all like looking at juicy gameplay. Now, I think as far as power ammo, I think it still comes the same amount of time that it comes. The only issue I saw with power ammo, and wasn't really an issue for me because I always got to get it, but for other people, I think they didn't realize they had power ammo. That's just being new to the game. A lot of them didn't know that there was a thing such as power weapons, or is it even worth picking up power weapons? Like in the past, you know, special makes a huge difference in gunfights. Power weapons definitely so here. You've got fusions that are extremely nasty. I was not rocking the fusion rifle at all. I was still going with shoddy today. I was born a shoddy ape, still a shoddy ape. Nothing's gonna change that. But I was enjoying the hell out of the shotgun. I felt like the shotgun itself was much better than it was in the past beta. I don't know why. Now again, you can't really decide whether or not weapons are better or worse unless, number one, we look at the actual damage numbers. You know, is per pellet actually hitting harder? But number two, maps dictate such a big difference. This map had more corners, more areas to push and slide and get on top of enemies. It was much easier to do all those things versus the past map that we had in Destiny 2 beta's console. That map was a little more open. I felt like that map was more dynamically advantageous for things like fusion rifles, for things like snipers. Shotguns could be used, but again, there was big, huge lanes that you had to close the gap with, and I felt like today's map was definitely more of a shotty map. So I can't really justifiably go out there and say that shotguns are so much better than what they were, just simply because I think the map is what aided it more than anything. And that takes us to the map that you're seeing right here. This map is very interesting, guys. I really like it, man. It's not too open. It's not too campy in any kind of way. I feel like the control points where they're placed were pretty good. I felt like for the most part, the game never feels, just like in the last beta, it never feels like a 4v4. You think 4v4 is just not enough people, but somehow, man, it makes it work. Not only that, man, I really like to see that the map, the way all the enemies push on this map, there's just a lot of different angles. As in, you're not getting shuffled into like one spot. You're not having to go into one choke point to actually get a chance of getting a kill. And you're not necessarily pulling kills off of the backs and hard work of your teammates. No, you can actually go for the flank, or you could stand with them. Whatever the case may be, I think the direction that they went with the maps is wonderful. My biggest complaint in Destiny 1 for the longest time was the maps. I felt like, especially the maps that they chose for things like Trials of Osiris and our elimination game modes, the maps were either just completely weighted wrong in terms of its spawns, or there was really no reason for enemies to ever push up. If you take things like Shores of Time, this would be a completely different scenario if this was a Shores of Time map, right? Most people would just hang back on B and C, never push A. And again, the people on A would automatically be at a huge disadvantage based on nothing but their spawn. So as far as the direction they went with their spawn structures, where they spawn you back up at, 4v4, and the map design, I am completely on board. And it took me today to have to play with another map to really verify that for myself, because again, I couldn't just make an assessment or judgment based on one map. But I feel very confident seeing two maps back to back so far in the beta that have offered these fair and equal aspects of the game. So guys, that is the Destiny 2 PC beta, man. I don't know how much I'm gonna play of the PC version. You know, I'm normally on console. I think for my guys that were wary of playing on PC, man, just give it a try, dude. This is a whole new crowd, man. I'm like running into people on here, man. You know, I even typed in the chat today. Like, I used a little keyboard fire team chat. I was like, yo, this is so cool, man. I can fucking talk to people. I love that, man. I like that. I love seeing new people coming in this game. And people say that the PC community is so much more toxic. I completely disagree with that. Someone actually posted that today on Reddit, and it's true that they might be more vocal in what they disapprove of, but that's because they have a little more access. Anyone can get on a keyboard and type away. That tends to happen more on PC because we have those interfaces at our hands. I think the PC crowd being introduced into Destiny 2 is a wonderful thing. Anytime you ever bring in a whole new group like this, especially a good, talented group such as our PC players, I'm excited, man. And so, guys, if you want to give it a shot, especially if you are just a console player only today, please try it out, man. Plug your controller into your. I just took, honestly, the same USB wired device that plugs straight into my PlayStation controller and just plug it straight into my console. It picked up. There's no reason to have a DS4 outlet for your PC in order for you to actually get it to work. It recognized that it's a PlayStation controller, and it does the same thing for Xbox as well, guys. Well, guys, that is the PC beta in terms of PvP. I played some competitive. This is just some quick play. I might throw some competitive in another video. I think right now what I'm going to do is dive into PvE and just kind of get a good visualization of how the game looks. The game looks beautiful, guys. I mean, PC does it some justice. I gotta say, I like console. I like being on console because all my friends are on there. But PC, without a doubt, it's sexy, man. It's a reason why I play Dark Souls on PC over console, man. It just looks good. And yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing how the strike looks, as well as the future raids on PC. Well, guys, if you enjoyed this video, man, definitely hit that like button. And if you're new here, subscribe, fellas. I'm going to be putting out more content, so feel free to post in the comments below if there's something specifically you would like to see from this PC beta. And as always, slap that like button like your mama told you right.